sent me a screenshot of "Are we dating the same guy?" page, and it was a post that a girl posted like a fake fingernail that had fallen off in her man's car. She posted and was like, "Does this nail belong to any of you ladies?"
For
Right.
young women, 20s, early 30s, that they themselves don't have a lot to bring to the table, I think it's very true that at a certain amount of money, attraction no longer matters.
You start to believe that if this guy doesn't choose you, nobody will. And I think
Mhm.
when you start dating and you start like just going out and meeting new people, it makes you realize, holy crap, the world is my oyster.
Happily ever after never starts with on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. Ever. It
Yeah.
literally never does.
Welcome to Date Like a Matchmaker, the podcast where love meets strategy and connections are made with a little help from us. We're your hosts, Jorrie and Tiffany. Each week, we'll bring you fascinating stories from matchmakers, relationship experts, and couples who found love with a little help. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or just curious about how matchmaking works, this podcast is for you. We'll uncover the behind the scenes of the matchmaking process and share tips that could just change the way you approach love. In today's episode, we're going to discuss the well known Facebook page, Are We Dating the Same Guy? Whether or not attraction can grow over time, and an interesting conversation about age gaps. All right. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is actually one of my favorite things to talk about right now is the Facebook page, Are We Dating the Same Guy?
Which
What are your thoughts
is,
on that?
I
You
think
look at it
it
often, right?
is, I look at it every day, probably. I think it's the most entertaining Facebook group that there is right now, but also the absolute most trashy Facebook group that there is right now as well. I mean, it's terrible. I think that okay, just hear me out for a second. I think that if you feel the need to post the guy that you're dating on there, your spidey senses are already tingling and you already know that something is up, that he's probably
I
dating a
was,
lot of people.
yeah, I would say 80% of the time that's true. So like 80% of the time the posts that I see on there, you could tell that there's something fishy going on and that's why the woman is posting on the page. But I also see some posts that come up and it's just like this really nice looking guy. He looks, normal and no one comments on it after she puts like anyone have any tea. So
Yeah,
I think there's a little bit of that going on too, where sometimes it's just women wanting to like check ahead of time before they get involved with someone.
I know. And that's all cute when those happen. And it's always fun to even dig through those comments and be like, oh, look, nobody is also dating
Mm-hmm.
him. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people will be like, oh, he's been posted in here before when he really hasn't. And then it makes the person that's dating him second guess themselves. And then they'll be like, tell me where you saw him or how long
Oh,
ago.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any time when someone was like, this guy's been posted before and they haven't been able to find him. Usually they'll be like, here he is. And then you can like go on the last post and
There.
look.
So I was reading through it, I don't know, sometime in the last few days. And some girl was like, well, then show us the proof. And she was like, well, I think it got deleted. And I'm like, you're just this poor girl that is trying to just be in love and
Yeah.
second
I don't
guessing herself
know.
now.
I think it's great. So I used it one time. I don't know if I told you about
Oh,
this.
no, you didn't.
No, I didn't use it to like post someone to be
Oh,
like, and
okay,
it's
okay,
funny.
okay.
No,
Like
no,
who?
no, no.
Okay.
No, because someone posted a friend of a friend that I knew, and I knew
Oh,
that he was kind of a sketchball. And so I didn't, but I also think he's a lovely human being, and I know he's a really good friend, but I would never recommend anyone
date
date him
him.
unless, yeah, unless they're like not looking for anything serious. Like I wouldn't recommend him to date one of my friends ever,
Fair.
even though he's a nice human being. So someone posted in there his photo. And so I commented on it because I was like, I'm, part of this group. I might as well participate. And my one chance that I get. So I wrote on there and I was like, he's a lovely human being, but I would have like a really intentional discussion with him about what his relationship goals are and make sure you guys are aligned. And I tried to say it in a roundabout way without being like red flag run type
Right.
thing. Because a lot of times on that Facebook page, women will screenshot and send it to the
And
guy.
send to the guy. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is also the whole point of the group is that you're not supposed to do that because it's like dangerous for the women.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Hold
I
on.
just had
Here's my other
another
question.
hmm,
With your personal experience, how long has it been since you've known this guy personally?
10 years.
See, this is another thing I hate about this group is that you knew him 10 years ago. Do you know how much could change in 10 years?
No, 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 no. I've known him for 10 years, but I know I still like know of him. I probably haven't talked to,
Okay.
listen, this guy is a really great person, but he is, I'm not going to say it, but he's most likely, from what I know about him, not looking for a monogamous, you know, relationship that I guess fits society's norms. I'll say that.
Okay.
And he had put in his profile because the girl said, well, his profile said he's looking for a serious relationship and a life partner.
They
And I
all
was
say
like,
that.
yeah. So anyway, um, so I know how he rolls is my point.
Right.
And I know the lifestyle that he lives. I know all of his friends. I'm good friends with a few of his friends still. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I felt like I had enough insight to let her know that because he's not someone that I would recommend a friend to date at all.
Especially if she wants a relationship.
Yeah. Now I just had another interesting experience, not about me personally on there, but Saturday night, I was just taking a look see, seeing who was posted on there.
Just a little casual scroll.
I saw one of my best friends, who's a guy. So my best friend is a girl, and her best guy friend was posted on there, and this guy's a dirt bag, like dirt bag.
Did you tell the girl?
No, because I don't know him personally, but I was shocked that that was the first time I had ever seen him posted on there because like insane stories I've heard about the guy and his dating life and
Right.
what goes on. So anyway, of course they like I saw it and so I was like, "Oh my gosh." I did not screenshot it because I know that that is not allowed.
Oh,
But the
well, it would
next
definitely
day,
come back to you too, because your best friend, if it's your best friend's best friend.
yeah. Well, I don't know if it would come back to me because the girl posted anonymously about him. And it was like his dating profile that my friend actually wrote for him, which is hilarious. Um, because she's a dating coach of sorts.
I would
But anyway,
love to see, I would love to see someone that I know on there.
so I didn't screenshot it because I knew that wasn't allowed. But the next day, I told my friend and I was like, "Hey, I saw your homeboy on posted on the Facebook page." And she said, "Did you screenshot it?" And I said, "No."
No, I'm a rule follower.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, I'm for the girls, when it comes to stuff like this.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like the group, I mean, the people that are posted on there, it just is wild. It's some of them you look at and you just can tell with the look in their eye that they're not dating material. You just can
Some
tell
are
the
crazy.
vibe. Yes.
Like this one guy was posted on there a couple months ago, and there were like 100 comments. So I read them. And the guy, it was something like the guy had just been released from prison from a domestic violence charge, and that's why he was in prison. And he got out like the day before and was already all over the apps. And all the women were like, "Oh my gosh, don't go out with this guy." Da, da, da. Crazy.
Run background checks, ladies. Always run a background check or just Google their name. It's the least you
Yeah.
can do is Google
I would
someone
say at least Google someone's name.
because
Anyway.
there's some crazies out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think it serves a good purpose though. I do think it serves a great purpose, but I think it can get a little bit out of control. And I'm sure there are instances where it's not a very balanced thing. Like I'm sure a woman who's scoring could probably post on there about a perfectly fine guy who maybe
Yes,
just isn't into her anymore and but she's has hurt feelings. So I could see that
that's so
happening.
true. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Or trying
Yeah.
to deter other women from dating him.
That too. And then Do you see like women post in their like, hey, can anyone send me a photo that you might have at a dinner table with a man's arm in the picture? And then like 20 girls would be like, I got you. I'll send one over. I'll DM you one because she wants like probably use that photo to like post on her story or something. So
Yeah,
some guy thinks she's on a date.
I love that. I love
So
that.
funny. And then I think did you send me the one that some girl posted a fingernail? Is that
No,
you?
no. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Someone sent me a screenshot of Are We Dating the Same Guy page, and it was a post that a girl posted like a fake fingernail that had fallen off in her man's car. She posted and was like, "Does this nail belong to any of you ladies?" That page provides me with so much entertainment.
So much entertainment.
So much entertainment.
Oh man, to whoever's nail this is, I'm dating your man.
Yeah. No, someone was dating her man. The girlfriend found a busted nail on like her man's car floor.
Oh my goodness. First of all, nails shouldn't be popping off. Your nails
Yeah, I
should
have
be
no idea.
secure to your hand.
I don't know, not the ones that they sell, the ones like at Ulta and Target that you can like
Oh.
do your own like nails. You know what I mean? I've seen them before.
Okay, so when you saw that, was it on a California page or was that in an Arizona page?
That was on the San Diego page.
Okay, okay. Makes sense. Although I don't know what's worse, Texas, Arizona, or California. You're back in Arizona now?
Yep,
Okay, you landed
back
today.
in Arizona. I landed today and actually I met a guy in the plane and I like never talked to anyone on the airplane. I'm not an airplane talker at
Me
all.
either. Me either.
Yeah, I like put in my headphones and I just listen to podcasts the whole time or music. But I sat next to this guy today and he started talking to me and he was really interesting. He was a venture capitalist. He was 65, splits his time between California and Paradise Valley, which is a little outside of Scottsdale. Um, and so he saw my hat actually.
Really
And
love it.
yeah,
Love
he
it.
tapped me and he was like, you work at a dating service? And I was like, yeah, I'm a matchmaker. And so then that's how we started talking. And so then we had like a 30-minute conversation about dating. He's married. However, he has a single. So he told me this story and he gave me these two different examples. So we started talking about age gaps in relationships and how it came up was he said that he just had a friend who's 59 who married a 34-year-old. And that's a 25-year age gap.
It's quite a
And
gift.
yeah. And he's like, now I have a brother who's about the same age and he wants to date women in their 30s, but he's never going to be able to get women in their 30s. And I was like, how come? And he goes, because with that big of an age gap, it becomes very transactional. There's got to be a reason for both parties to be there, right? And so he said the guy who's 59 who just married this 34-year-old and actually just had a baby with her,
Oh, wow.
he said, yeah, he said he's got a ton of dough, is how he said it. He's like, this guy's got a ton of dough and he likes to spend it.
There you go.
And yeah, and he said on their wedding day, he bought her a brand new Ferrari.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah.
Like
And
it.
so he's like, that is why that guy who's 59 years old can date this gorgeous 34-year-old woman because of that. He's got dough and he'll spend it. Now, he's like, my brother has dough. He doesn't like to spend it.
Doesn't like to spend it. I think there is some truth in that though, because a woman in her 30s, first of all, to date up to 59, you have to be a really good looking 59-year-old man. And the fact that
Yeah,
he had her babies too is a whole nother, I mean, that means he's going to be 77 by the time his kid graduates high school. So
right.
the chances of her doing a lot of the heavy lifting with this child is huge. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think that is like I don't know. I think it just depends on the person. I think that's one of those like to each their own type thing because I could see it too where like he meets this woman, right? He's in love with her and it works for her. She loves him too, whatever. She's only 34. So if you're 59 years old, you want to date a 34-year-old woman and she wants a baby, you have to either give it to her or not be with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's one of those things that you would like this guy clearly just I'm sure he didn't want a baby at 59. I mean, I'm not sure
Right.
he
The
didn't want a
chances
baby
are
at 50.
slim.
I could imagine it wasn't on his bingo card type thing in life. But he probably was like, well, it's her life too. And if this is what she wants, I want to give that to her.
I'm willing to do it. Right. You'd rather
Especially,
be with her.
especially too, because he's gonna I mean, it's not for sure, but he's probably gonna, God forbid, pass away before her.
Right.
And then she's gonna be
I
left
mean,
alone on Earth. At least she has a baby
and
to be
money.
with. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. He's
that too.
not, hopefully not leaving her dry. So,
Yeah. But this guy in the plane was like, I know my brother will never be able to get that because he won't spend the money. And that's what that sort of a relationship tends to be in terms of how the dynamic is.
yeah, that's a lot of the attraction of dating older men is that they're successful, they're established, they have the funds, they like it's a lot of it's not all of the attraction. Obviously, there has to be other areas of compatibility, but it's certainly an attractive factor in dating
Yeah.
almost double your age.
Yeah. Because
35.
that's 20 25 age gap
Yeah,
they have. Yeah. Interesting though. From a totally unbiased, like he's married this gentleman, his friend and his brother, just unbiased, but he just like pinpointed it. Like he just explained it.
it's the reality though. It's so, so true. No woman is going to want to date someone 25 years older and be broke.
I don't know. I know you don't watch any reality TV,
Some,
but
some.
I'm positive you don't watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Um,
I don't.
but there's an age gap couple on there, and there's this woman named Bryn. And it's just interesting, even if you're not a fan of reality TV or Bravo or anything like that, it's an interesting case study. So Bryn is, I think she's like 38 or something like that. And she's dating a gentleman who is probably 25 or 30 years older than her. Super successful guy.
Okay.
Super successful guy. And you could feel the age gap from just watching them. Like some people, when they say age is just a number, I agree with that and I don't, but I agree with it in the sense that you could meet a 53-year-old man or woman and they might seem way older than someone else who's the same age who just has a different energy to them or maybe has taken care of themselves or whatever. It could just be someone's personality, whatever it may be. But like this guy that she's married to is vastly older than her. And so they were at dinner one time, and one of the other cast members asked, so why are you married to this guy? Are you attracted to him? And it was very much the woman trying to put a dig there because the older gentleman, it's just such a large age gap visually.
Okay.
Um,
Visually. Okay.
yeah,
Physically.
visually, physically, it looks like it's her father, in my opinion, on the show. And so the woman said, as a dig, "Are you attracted to him?" And then the Bryn, who this is about, um, said, "Yeah,
She's lying.
she,
There's
she
no way.
better.
Listen,
She's got to be right."
at one point, okay, I know this is highly controversial and I don't agree with everything but yeah, the hot crazy matrix, the one that I kind
I
of
loathe that, but yes,
okay, so I loathe it. I loathe it too. I love it, but I hate it. But on the tail end of that video, he talks about the male version of it, which I think is
Mhm.
hilarious because he says once you have X amount of money, nothing else matters. And I think there is some truth to that for younger women. Okay. I think high
Mm.
caliber, established women they don't really care about how much money someone else brings to the table as long as it's comparable, right? But for
Right.
young women, 20s, early 30s, that they themselves don't have a lot to bring to the table, I think it's very true that at a certain amount of money, attraction no longer matters. And so maybe they force themselves to become attracted to someone because of the amount of money.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, and I think like the confidence in that person that comes with it, the person that they're dating that has all the money, I'm sure it's like just nice to be around someone who is comfortable in their own skin, who also can like wine and dine them. But like with our clients that we work with, the women in our group, they would never just date someone who is rich or wealthy.
Never,
They just would
never,
never
never.
because they are themselves. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like they're educated, they all do very well for themselves. So to match a client with someone who
Oh, no,
isn't
no,
what they're
no.
looking for physically, it's so I agree with you. I think that in younger women, yeah, I think that could apply. But I think as you get older and you yourself become more established, it's not as impressive anymore.
Right.
Dating a man with money because you have your own money. So you're like,
Like,
I'd
cool,
rather
me
be with
too.
someone that I want to kiss.
Absolutely. That you want to roll
Hmm.
over and wake up next to
Yeah,
and not just be on the
totally.
yacht with.
Right, exactly. Okay, so before we wrap this up, there's one more thing that I want to talk about. We've gotten a lot of DMs about people have written in on our Talk About It Tuesdays asking about this. And I think just it should all be under the umbrella of not lying to yourself when it comes to dating. Have you ever read the book, He's Just Not That Into You?
I have read bits and pieces of it, but never as a whole.
It changed my entire dating life.
Really?
Oh my gosh. It changed any of my friends or my little sister or anything like that, I tell them read this book. I read it when I was like in my late 20s and it just opened my eyes to realizing that sometimes guys just aren't that into you and you like can't force it. And you have to just take it as the writing on the walls. So we get a ton of DMs all the time, like asking about people's situationships or like yo-yo relationships on and off. There's this one woman that I DM back and forth with on Instagram, and she's been seeing this guy on and off for 3 years. She actually moved to another state.
No.
She moved to another state. They weren't even dating, but she like thought maybe I don't know what she thought, to be quite honest with you. But so they're in this other state, and he will he will date her for like 2 or 3 months and then he'll go cold. He'll just like disappear for another month and a half. Just won't respond to her texts anymore. Or he'll like say something mean to her, like a reason why they can't date anymore. Maybe she like I remember she sent me a message one time and it was like um she like drank too much and like tripped on his grass in front of his neighbor and he was embarrassed so he didn't want to see her
No.
anymore. That made him decide he didn't want to see her anymore. And I mean, who knows, like we don't know the context or like the depth of things, so who knows.
I know, but it's just an
But
excuse to not, it's an excuse for it to end right then, just because he knows that she's going to come back around.
so that's the thing. So when you're dating someone on and off for however many years and they ghost you and you let them ghost you and then they reach back out and you just go back like nothing ever happened, they literally know in their mind
Yes,
you're always just going to be there.
they can do it as
Oh,
much as they want.
yeah. You're just warm in their back pocket when they need you. They're going to date other people. They don't want to date you. If they wanted to date you, they would date you.
Yeah. I always say happily ever after never starts with on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, ever. It
Yeah.
literally never does.
Never does. And then I know this woman, she DM'd me at one point and she was like, they were off and on, off and on. And they were off. And then he reached back out and it was right before his 50th birthday. And he reached back out to her and she was like, well, he's 50. Maybe he's,
Oh,
you know,
maybe
shifting.
some
Maybe he
things
wants
change.
to settle down. I know, but the thing is, it's so easy for our brains to go there. I've done it before. I was dating someone for so many years, and I look back now and I feel like the biggest silly goose in the whole entire world. You know
Well,
what I
and
mean?
it's so much time that's wasted too.
I know, but if we are able to somehow detach from it, I know it's really hard, but if we're just somehow able to be honest with ourselves and not have this little glimmer of hope in our back, like the back of the minds when he reaches out, like, oh, he reached out to me, even though he just ghosted me, but he reached back out. Maybe he thinks he made a mistake. Maybe he does want to date me. No, he doesn't want to date you.
That's what the block button is for. Block that guy. I feel like the next time that you're off again, you just block him and you move and you never look back because there's no way that you're ever going to end up in a healthy long-term relationship. You have to stop it at some point.
So you don't think that a guy can ever, you don't think that it could ever be a scenario where he would change his mind?
No, no way. If a man wants something, they claim it. That's what men do. Men name things and they claim things. And like, if a man wants to be with someone and he doesn't want her to be with anyone else, he will claim her. He will name
Yeah,
her.
I
He will put
agree.
a title on it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So so you said just block him, but it's
Yeah,
way more easier said than done. So
I
why
know.
do you think why can't people block them? Like what is it? Like what is that? What's going on, you think?
I think there's so much chemistry and connection most of the time with two people. Whenever things are good, they're great. And whenever they're bad, they're terrible. And it's such an unhealthy high of highs and an unhealthy lows of lows. And while I think there's going to be highs and lows in a relationship, I don't think that they're always so extreme one end or the other. I think it
Mhm.
should be more like this instead of like this.
So, but why do you think those women in those up and down relationships don't block someone? Because they're always holding out a little bit of hope.
I think there is always a little bit of hope, but I also think that a lot of it comes from control of the man. The man has the control. Maybe it's a way with words, maybe it's they're putting in the highs of highs in the emotion. They're begging for someone back. They want you back. They want to try again. They want to do better. And then nothing changes again. And so I'm sure it's hope. I think there's always a glimmer of hope in there.
Yeah, I think it's a glimmer of hope. I think that's why women don't block the person who keeps stringing them along. However, if you think about it, you're literally just wasting years of your life
Wasting,
with
withering
someone who's
away.
never going to want to be with you anyway.
Yeah. And it's sad. But I feel like at least every single week we get one or two questions of people that are like, is this a red flag or do I keep trying? And it's like, you already know the answer to this question. You just want someone to give you the extra push or confirm it for you. When I'm sure all of your girlfriends are also doing the same thing. But maybe
Mhm.
it's helpful to hear it from someone who sees it or knows it or isn't
I
as
think it's,
close to you.
yeah, I think it's helpful to hear it from someone who is unbiased about
Yeah.
it. Because your girlfriends, they're obviously going to be rooting for you and they're going to tell you dump in da 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 da. So I think coming from an outside party, it's better, it's easier to hear things, or you can take it in a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's hard. I think it's emotionally draining to come out of these relationships and it takes a long time to heal from. A lot of these are narcissistic like
Hmm.
behaviors that you're
Right.
experiencing and these highs of highs and lows of lows. And there's a lot of manipulation and a lot of control. And I think it takes a long time to heal and recover from that too. And then also trust the next relationship that you're going into that it's also not going to be that way. And sometimes a lot of people don't take the time that they need to recover and they end up in the same relationship that they just came from.
Yeah. What would you tell someone if they were in that situation themselves? They don't have the whatever you want to call it, the strength to block the person, right? But they're trying to somehow get out of it. They won't block them. What advice can you give them?
Seek therapy because I think a therapist has a way of making you see things in a different light that you are blind to while you're so in it. And I think it's just good to hear a different point of view. I definitely don't think that that person should hop right back into the dating scene or hop right back into a relationship with someone else. Or like, I think you need professional help in order to see a different point of view. What would you tell them?
This is not going to be probably well received by some, but I would tell you get yourself back out there. If you're in an on again, off again relationship with someone, there's no, you're not exclusive. The person goes to you, start dating, go to therapy, do all those things as well. But start dating because I think what happens is when you're in that sort of tunnel and you're stuck in that tunnel, you start to believe that if this guy doesn't choose you, nobody will. And I think
Mm,
when you start dating and you start like just going out and meeting new people, it makes you realize, holy crap, the world is my oyster.
yeah.
There's like so many good dateable people out there. And I'm like sitting here in this weird vortex, like stuck in this vortex that I can't get out of. So I would say get yourself out there and start dating.
There are so many amazing singles in this world, and it's so interesting to see singles think that their life is over because they're single. But I think just as matchmakers, we see so many high caliber single individuals in this world. They're everywhere.
So many. I interview all these men and women, but I think a lot of times the women feel like there's no good men out there. And I've seen them with my own two eyes every single day, like attractive, normal, cool, funny,
Emotionally
just really,
available. Yeah.
yes. And like serious about finding a relationship too,
Yeah. That
like
don't want to
dating with
just date around.
intention.
Hmm.
Exactly. So yeah, I think sometimes it takes just putting yourself back out there and realizing, oh, I actually do have options. I'm not, this isn't my destiny. This terrible relationship that's not even a relationship, a guy that doesn't even like me and treats me like crap is not my destiny. I can go find someone who actually likes me and wants to be with me, who I like too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think for every person that is willing to treat you like crap, there are 10 more that are want to treat you so well.
I 100% agree with that.
All right, you guys, we hope you enjoyed our first episode. Make sure to share this with your single friends, like and subscribe, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.